Do you ever find yourself feeling suddenly anxious or angry, only to realize moments later that you're not even sure why? You're not alone. Many of us fall into what psychologists call invisible emotional traps, subtle patterns in your brain chemistry and thought habits that distort reality and hijack your behavior. In this video, you'll uncover the 3 most common emotional traps quietly shaping your decisions and learn simple techniques to spot and diffuse them before they lead you astray. First, let's explore why your emotions can feel like mirages in a desert, promising clarity but delivering confusion instead. Emotions evolved as adaptive signals designed to alert you to danger or opportunity, but in modern life, they often misfire when your ancient wiring collides with new challenges. Imagine standing at the edge of a precipice in your mind. Your amygdala sounds the alarm, flooding your body with adrenaline, even though the only threat may be an overdue email or a curt message from a friend. This mismatch creates a feedback loop where your feeling of danger amplifies your focus on negative outcomes, reinforcing the trap. By understanding how these mirages form, you'll begin to see your emotional reactions not as unchangeable truths, but as signals you can interpret and reframe. In the next section, we'll dive into the first major trap, the negativity bias, and use a simple financial portfolio metaphor to illustrate how your mind overweights losses compared to gains. Armed with this insight, you'll gain a powerful tool for rebalancing your emotional investments and reclaiming your calm. In this first trap, your mind behaves like a hyper-cautious investor who, when faced with a portfolio of experiences, assigns far greater weight to losses than to gains, so a single critical comment can overshadow a week of praise. You might remember an awkward moment from years ago, yet forget dozens of times you were complimented, because your ancient neural wiring prioritizes threats over rewards, a phenomenon called the negativity bias. Imagine you have a mental ledger. Every negative thought is recorded as a withdrawal 10 times larger than any positive deposit, and unless you consciously rebalance your account, you'll perpetually feel in the red. To counter this, start with a simple 3-step portfolio rebalancing exercise. First, notice each negative thought as it arises. Label it withdrawal. Second, challenge it by asking, is this thought factually accurate, or am I inflating the risk? Third, deliberately record at least one genuine deposit by recalling a small success or gratitude, however trivial it seems. Over time, this habit retrains your brain to distribute attention more evenly, so minor setbacks no longer hijack your mood. You can reinforce this by keeping a positivity balance sheet. Each evening, list 3 things that went well or moments you felt calm, no matter how small. Within days, you'll notice a shift. The ledger begins to lean toward gains and your sense of emotional stability grows. Having equipped yourself with this toolkit for spotting and rebalancing the first trap, you're ready to explore the second invisible snare, the emotional reasoning loop, where feelings masquerade as facts and lead you further from clear thinking. When you let emotions dictate your reality, you fall into the second trap, the emotional reasoning loop, where how you feel becomes proof of what's happening, even when evidence points otherwise. You know that moment when you feel a knot in your stomach and suddenly believe someone is upset with you, only to learn later they were distracted or busy. That knot is your mind taking a feeling, anxiety, and converting it into a fact, like a faulty photocopier reproducing the same error over and over. Imagine walking through a hall of mirrors where every reflection confirms your worst fears, even though the scene behind you remains unchanged. To break this loop, start by treating your emotions as signals rather than gospel. First, pause and name the feeling. This is anxiety, not evidence of betrayal. Second, ask yourself, what is the concrete evidence for this belief? List 2 facts that support it and 2 that contradict it. Third, adopt a spectator's mindset. Visualize a friend describing this situation and notice how you'd question their conclusions. This 3-step emotion auditing exercise creates a gap between impulse and interpretation, giving you space to choose a different response. Over time, your brain learns to decouple feeling from fact, so that a racing heart no longer dictates defeat but invites curiosity. What is really going on here? As you practice, you'll find moments of emotional turbulence becoming opportunities for self-discovery rather than triggers for stress. Now that you've equipped yourself to challenge the mirage of feelings as facts, get ready to explore the third invisible snare, the inner critic's self-fulfilling prophecy and how your own thoughts can engineer the very outcomes you fear. When your inner critic whispers you'll never be good enough, it's not just a fleeting thought. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy that engineers your own worst outcome. Imagine you're about to give a presentation, and before you step on stage, your mind plays a loop of doubt so loud that your hands shake and your voice falters. That doubt isn't neutral. It shapes your posture, your tone, and even the questions you ask yourself mid-speech, turning possibility into paralysis. To break this third trap, start by identifying your inner saboteur voice. Notice the recurring negative script and give it a name like the judge. Then practice the inner coach swap. Whenever the judge speaks, respond with a supportive phrase you'd offer a friend, such as, "I've prepared well, and I can learn from this." Next, use a brief pre-performance ritual to shift your physiological state and outmaneuver the sabotage. Take 3 slow, grounding breaths. Press your feet firmly into the floor to feel rooted, and visualize one moment of past success to cue confidence. Finally, turn criticism into data by asking, what useful insight is hidden in this doubt? If the judge says you'll screw up, translate it into, I'm nervous about making mistakes. How can I prepare? This reframing transforms negativity into a tool for improvement. With practice, your mind learns to heed the inner coach rather than the saboteur, so you step forward with intention instead of hesitation. Now that you've unearthed and disarmed all 3 invisible traps, negativity bias, emotional reasoning, and the inner critic, you're ready to weave these strategies into a daily mind toolkit that keeps you balanced, curious, and resilient under any emotional weather. Now that you know how to spot and dismantle the 3 invisible traps, it's time to forge them into a seamless daily toolkit for your mind. Begin each morning with a brief emotional check-in. Pause for 1 minute. Notice any lingering withdrawals, emotional photocopies, or critical scripts. Then perform a quick portfolio rebalance by recalling a moment of gratitude. Midday, when life's pace accelerates, use the pause pivot technique. Whenever you detect a strong emotion, interrupt the loop with 3 grounding breaths. Label the feeling and ask yourself whether it reflects fact or bias. Carry a small reminder, an icon on your phone or a rubber wristband, that prompts this micropause. In the afternoon, schedule a 5-minute coach's huddle. Write down one doubt from the judge and immediately reframe it into a question of growth, such as, what lesson is here? Finally, before sleep, complete your positivity balance sheet. List 3 genuine deposits from the day, big or small, and acknowledge how you applied one toolkit exercise. Over time, these intentional pauses and reflections wire your brain to default to mindful awareness, turning emotional mirages into maps for understanding yourself. Each technique stands alone, yet interlocks with the next, creating a resilient circuit that catches your mind whenever it starts to drift into unhelpful patterns. You'll find that even when stress surges, you carry within you a ready mind first aid kit to restore clarity, calm, and curiosity. As you continue on this journey, remember that emotional traps are not failures but invitations to deepen your self-awareness and strengthen your mental resilience. Each time you notice a withdrawal, a looping thought, or a critical voice, congratulate yourself for pausing and applying your toolkit. Whether you're rebalancing your mental portfolio, auditing your emotions, or swapping in your inner coach, you're rewiring your brain toward clarity and calm. Over weeks and months, these small intentional actions compound into a powerful habit circuit that catches emotional mirages before they distort your reality. Picture yourself standing not at the edge of a precipice, but on firm ground, equipped with practical exercises that let you engage with life's challenges from a place of curiosity instead of fear. Emotional mastery isn't about eliminating feelings, it's about befriending them, learning their language, and choosing how to respond. If you found these strategies helpful, join our community of curious minds by liking this video, sharing it with someone who could use a mental toolkit boost, and subscribing to Mind Unlocked for more evidence-based insights and actionable techniques that help you think more clearly and live more fully.